So, I found myself in a conversation with a guy that I'd never seen any Evil Dead movies. And as I started to explain to him what Evil Dead is, I discovered that I don't really know how to make someone understand this franchise. The original from 1981, that's a straight up low budget horror, right? 6 years later, Evil Dead 2, which is a sequel / remake, that's also funny. And then you've got Army of Darkness, which is a full-blown comedy. Then, 21 years after that, there's a revamped, serious as fuck horror sequel. Remake? Then a few years after that, there's a series that comes out for 3 seasons that's like dark comedy, which then brings us to the newest entry of the EDU, Evil Dead Rise. And this one is very similar vibes to Evil Dead 2013. Wait a minute. I think there's a musical too.
Yo, she-bitch. Let's go.
So, you got this chick that's been like following a band on tour. It doesn't matter. She decides to go visit her sister's apartment to visit the fam. And her sister at this apartment has 3 offspring of her own. She's got 2 teens and 1 child. There's an earthquake, and one of the teenagers below the basement of this building discovers a book and a record. Being a curious teen, they open the book and play the record, and it unleashes the evil presence that we've all gotten to know and love. And then you know how it goes. This evil presence terrorizes this family for the remainder of the movie, and it's glorious. Alyssa Sutherland is the mother of this household. Now, she's been going through some hard times, but you can tell she's a great mom, and she's been doing her best to raise these kids in this shitty apartment building. And now she's been possessed by a demonic presence and causing all kinds of chaos. Her performance is stellar. Stellar performance. She just nails it from every possible angle. And it pisses me off how I see performances like this in horror movies that never make it to the Oscars. No nominations, no acknowledgement. Babadook. Even physically, she dominates every scene she's in, and I fucking applaud her dedication and her effort. Amazing. Lily Sullivan is her sister that's visiting, the aunt to the children and teens. I loved her role in this. As her sister is just causing all this havoc, she has to step up into this protective mother role, and she also delivers a solid performance. The 2 teens and the kid are also perfect in the roles that they play. I'm always happy to see a cast where I don't know any of the actors, and they all deliver great performances. A movie like this, with so much fucked up shit, relies on people to react and be afraid, and needs a cast that'll rise to the occasion. And this full cast did it. They all did it. They Evil Dead rose to the occasion. Bravo, bravo. Awesome cast. Okay, so how was Evil Dead Rise? Well, as a fan of the franchise, I fucking loved it. Everything that I expected to see, they gave it to me. And if you're wondering what was I expecting to see, anytime I go into anything that has to do with the Evil Dead series, I need Book of the Dead, check. A shotgun, check. And a badass gas-powered chainsaw, check. And the obvious blood and guts and language. It's all there. Check, 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 check. The Book of the Dead looked so cool too. All the pages are made from human flesh and blood, and the edge of the book closes with these like fangs. It looks gnarly and it's metal as fuck. Yes! The tone of this thing is almost spot on to the 2013 movie. It's bloody and gross and all practical effects. There were at least 3 scenes that made me cringe. Early on, they give us a very detailed look at the apartment and all the things inside of it that could be used to gross us out. And I think that they used all of them. So much foreshadowing for the gore. Gore shadowing. You know what kind of sucks that is also just so good for the storytelling? They do a really good job at establishing these characters in the beginning and establishing them as a family. So inevitably, when shit hits the fan, I legit felt bad. I didn't necessarily want to see any of these things happen to these characters. And it gives you just that little bit of emotional tug where you're like, oh my god. The sound editing and sound design are insane. They just hyper focus on every nail scratch, every tooth grind, every bone crack. You hear everything. I give so much credit to the sound of this movie. The way that it sounds makes everything the experience that it is. The camera work too. This isn't directed by Sam Raimi, but it makes sure that you know you're in an Evil Dead flick. The first time we get that legit evil presence POV shot that we all know and love. It hits and immediately, fuck yeah moment, fuck yeah. In the movie trailer, they have that part with the kid looking through the doorway into the hallway with the peephole. You know that part?
Open up now.
You don't look so good, Mom.
Nothing a big old kiss from you won't fix.
There's an entire sequence that's filmed through that peephole. Peephole? Is it peephole or peephole? Anyway, there's a sequence filmed from that perspective, and it was probably my favorite part of the whole thing. The most basic shot of the whole movie, I had an absolute blast with. As far as the expectations go for an Evil Dead thing, I don't really have any issues with this movie. It's exactly what I wanted to see. We're trapped in a confined space with a group of people that love each other that are also possessed. And they're just brutally torturing each other and themselves in horrific ways, and there just doesn't seem to be a way out of this scenario. It is Evil Dead at its core. And as a fan, I can't ask for anything more than that. I thought it was amazing. I'm also such a sucker for any reference to the previous movies, any line that they say, anything that they repeat, any callback. I'm a sucker for it, and I'm like, yeah. That being said, though, if you don't know Evil Dead, this stands on its own. You can see this without any previous knowledge. You just won't catch any of those references that the fans know, okay? Oh, here's a thing. In the theater, it wasn't a problem, but the lighting is very low. The scenery that you're in is mostly lit by candles. I can see that being a problem if you're watching it at home during the day. So probably just go see it in the theater and be ready for some awesome gore and a fuck ton of blood, okay? See ya! Subscribe! As you probably know by now, I have a hard time seeing horror movies in the theater. Anything scary or has jump scares. When I get freaked out, I throw up my hoodie, I put my feet up, and I unintentionally yell at the screen. Ha! Don't do that! Don't go in there! I'm just embarrassed of myself when I see scary shit. But this time, there was a dude sitting 2 seats down from me that was reacting literally the exact same way I was. Don't go in there! And then we noticed each other, and it was so nice acknowledging that we were acting the exact same way. We were in this thing together. Being total wusses in public at a fictional movie. My man.